Welcome. I hope you enjoy the conversation you're about to see between me and another comedian about religion and comedy. These are conversations I'm calling disorganized religion. God bless. And for those atheists out there, may nothing await you after this life. Hey nerds, welcome to another episode of Disorganized Religion. I know it's been a while. I'm sorry. Homeschooling kids is awful. But you know what? It's all handled now, and I'm here. I am here, Seth Lawrence, the host, as always. That's me. This week, I'm joined by the fantastic, the dashing, the mighty Zach Stein. Thank you for joining us, Zach.
Nope. Thanks for having me, Seth.
Yeah, man. So how you been? How you been over quarantine?
It's been like a little bit of roller coaster time, like mostly good, or not good. Like there's been a lot of bad stuff that makes you not happy.
Sure.
But in my own personal life, not so bad.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So what has kept you? You're in LA still.
Mm-hmm.
What has kept you in LA? Because there's lots of people sort of taking off, you know?
They're leaving. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could maybe leave, but I just got a little bit of false hope that like comedy is gonna start coming back. I just did some I'm doing what I want to do with as far as comedy goes. I'm gonna do shows when I've got them. I just did a couple in Arizona with
nice.
with some of my friends at like the Tempe Improv and Phoenix Stand Up Live. That were awesome. It felt very nice to go back to stand up.
Yeah, that's great. So had that been your first sort of live sets in like what, 6 months or?
First like indoor live set. I had done one other show that Ahmed Al-Kahidri hosts at UCLA on the steps there, and that was a lot of fun. That was a really good time. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was also like an outdoor set. It was a great it was a great show and everything. But it was just it was really cool to get back to just do it in a way that you're used to and stuff.
Yeah. Now, are you doing the Zoom shows or just indoor outdoor shows?
I did one Zoom show.
Yeah.
I'm not seeking them out in particular. And
no?
I'm a little. I think that I'm sure. I think I would do them.
Yeah.
But I'm not. I don't feel like a strong desire to.
Yeah. Well, that's fair.
What have you been doing?
Man, mostly Zoom shows. If I'm doing stand up, it's mostly been Zoom.
Nice.
Yeah, I have not.
You're homeschooling, right?
I'm homeschooling the kids, but I've also not graduated to your level, Zach. I'm not being called into the Tempe, Arizona improvs, you know?
I'm not either. Two other guys were, and they were nice enough to bring me along.
We'll see, and I'm not connected. I'm not connected the way that Zach Stein is. But you deserve.
Huh?
Yeah, I need to hang out with you more, and you deserve those spots. Though is the thing. It's not, it's not like these guys are just doing you a crazy favor. You deserve to be up there. Yeah, man. Oh my gosh, but yeah, mostly Zoom stuff. And then this. When I can get some free evenings, and we're not traveling outside of LA to escape the terrible air quality.
That was not. Is it good again? It was like kind of back to moderate, and then I stopped checking.
Yeah. I think it's still kind of hovering around moderate, but I live near the Bobcat fire. Not super close, but close enough to where it's affecting the air quality a bit. And thankfully, they have gotten that mostly contained. So hopefully, hopefully the air continues to improve as we get into a little bit cooler temperatures, which will also be nice.
Definitely, dude. It's been so hot out here.
Yeah, jeez. So how long have you been doing stand-up, Zach?
About 8 years.
Okay. Did you start in LA, or have you been doing it all over?
I started in Michigan in the Detroit area. I did my first 4 years probably there. And then and that was like a great scene. It was it was really, when I first got there, when I first started, I don't know, I thought you kind of just like did stand up and then you could get on TV pretty quick and stuff. I really had no clue how it worked. I was doing But I was just doing like one every 2 months for a while, and then I really like kind of got ingrained in it, and that scene grew into kind of this like a bunch of like the club scene was always really good, but
Yeah.
then like the like bar shows with like crowds of 50 to 100, you got a little money, you got to do a lot of time. So that, and we were all tight and stuff. That was fun.
Yeah. So is that open mic scene? I mean, I've talked to some other guys who have started kind of in like Texas or some who started in Arizona, and the open mic scene in Arizona versus LA, totally different. It seems like.
Oh yeah.
Same.
I've done a few different places now, and I'd say outside of LA and New York and a little bit Chicago, most places are a lot more fun to do stand up
than LA, really.
Yeah, you're gonna get a crowd, like an actual crowd of people at an open mic.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, like it's easier to get booked on. There's a lot less feeling of competition, probably. It's a little easier to just like have a good time and all that stuff. But like it was a good place to get better too. There were strong comics. I mean, around the same time I came out was like Ron Taylor, who's done great. He's a paid regular at the Comedy Store. Brad Wenzel, who's done like Conan a handful of times. So, all these guys. Yeah, it was a really strong scene. So it was good in that sense of like it was competitive in the. You wanted to do better, like guys were getting huge laughs, and you wanted to like also be getting huge laughs or more so if you could. So that was really good place to like. And I think it's good. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's fun to develop somewhere else because like you got to end up in LA or New York, and I think region can kind of like influence, and then what the comics do around can kind of influence how you come up in a lot of ways. And you don't want everyone coming up in the same place and having the same kind of point of view and like hearing all those same things. So I think it's not definitely that you can start here and do great, but it's
So what inspired you to make the move to LA as opposed to just staying in New York?
Oh, no, I was in Michigan.
I thought you said you kind of moved around in New York and then Chicago and then.
Oh no, I've done Chicago. I was in for like 2 months, and
I see.
Then and New York just like a week and stuff, and then just having friends there, and it just seems very similar to here in the sense that what I did, the open mics, no crowd. Just are those all your degrees?
You can say whatever you want, but yeah, these are some of my degrees, man.
Wow.
Look at how in debt I am. Pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you've done kind of short stints in Chicago, New York. So what was the move from Michigan to LA? Why not Michigan to New York, or why not, permanently?
Purely because of the weather.
Yeah.
Yeah, there wasn't. I kind of liked, like in theory, I like New York a little more. But not like a ton more. And then it was the ocean and sunshine all year round. I hate snow. I hate snow so much.
Interesting. Was that because of Michigan or like?
Yeah, you just gotta do it every. Huh?
Why?
It's cold. You get your hands in it; they're all red, and it hurts and stuff. Like it looks pretty, but then it's just a pain in the ass, and it melts. It's all slushy. Ice is slippery. I hate snow sports. I water skiing and wakeboarding any day over skiing and snowboarding.
Sure. Gotcha. Okay. So do you do surfing and stuff out here then?
No, surfing I just hear is hard, and I don't want to fail for that long.
Oh, yeah, like stand up, right? Why would you want to?
Right. For real, why would we do that?
Oh my gosh, that's great. So what inspired you to start stand up in Michigan?
I was always really into stand-up. I wasn't like, I became way more of a stand-up nerd, but I thought I was one, and I was compared to like my friends. So I would watch like Comedy Central every night. I loved I'd watch all the half hours. I didn't really know anyone's names of the big guys, but I'd like listen to the album. Like Chris Rock, Bigger and Blacker was the first one I got because like Yeah, that's the first stand-up I ever got. It was like No Sex in the Champagne Room was on MTV's Total Request Live with songs and everything for like a month. And then my brother got me the CD. I was 11 years old. I just listened to it every night for like 2 years. And I just was stand-up the coolest. And I always loved jokes. And then it just didn't really seem like I didn't know how to approach it. It wasn't, I was gonna go to college. I went to college for a little, but I just never was that passionate about what I was studying. It was like pre-law stuff, and
Yeah.
I just started partying and all that stuff. And I'm like, eventually, it was like, oh, this isn't gonna work out. I'm kind of failing out here.
Yeah.
And because I would just like sign up for classes, mean to go, and then just not go, and then not even unsign up for them. I would just go like a 0.0. And
Oh,
like I had
man.
good grades in my first semester, but
Yeah.
and I just blew it off. And then it was like I would talk about doing stand-up. I would write jokes. And like I was in a fraternity, and like I would like every night, like it was funny. Like you don't necessarily expect it, but like they were like so encouraging, and
Yeah.
like would make me
Interesting.
do jokes for them. And then was
Yeah.
like yeah. And so finally, it was like once college was like jigs up, this is over. I was like, all right, I guess I'll try this. And one of my friends knew a guy who did open mics. He put me in contact. I called him up. There's a Joey's Comedy Club, which is now shut down, which is closed. Not for
Yeah.
Corona, just ran out of
Before
money
that.
a while ago.
Yeah.
Just standard. No one goes to comedy clubs type of stuff.
Sure.
Call him up. I was 20 years old. I'm 31 now, so I started about 10 years ago.
Okay.
But I stopped for like a little over a year, and then the first year and a half, I would go to a mic every 2 months, so I don't really count it.
Gotcha.
But
yeah.
I call up. I'm like, hey, I'm 20 years old. I won't drink or anything. I come in, and they're like, nah, I don't think we can do that. And then so then I just went with a fake ID.
Oh,
And,
gotcha. All right.
Yeah, I called
Yeah.
back like 10 minutes later from a different phone and made a reservation.
Just like I'm getting in.
And then
I'm getting in one way or the other. You're just getting.
Yeah,
you're getting in one way or the other.
I read the jokes. And I'm like, it was one of those where I'm like, I felt like I crushed because like 30 of the guys from the frat like drove like 2 hours to come to the show and stuff.
Yeah, they were really supportive.
Yeah. And then, but luckily there's this guy he's out here now. He's really funny, Matt McClowry, and he went up and just destroyed, and it was so good. And I'm like, oh yeah, I kind of suck. So it was good to I didn't ride the high for too long.
Right. That's what we all need. We all need sort of a high, and then to immediately be humbled.
Yeah. The humbling's the best. But we would all suck if we never got humbled or thought we sucked.
Yeah, or at least recognize the humbling effect, and try to improve. Because I think there's some of us. I think there's some of us out there that have bad sets but refuse to acknowledge that it was a bad set.
Oh, 100%. I'm sure I've been guilty of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And it's the funniest thing I think is when people. I don't even know if they think they had a good set, but they're like, you'll watch them just bomb and get like no laughs, and then they go on Instagram. And they're like, just killed at the Hollywood Improv. And it's like, fucking, it's a lie. But like 30 people watched you bomb. 1,000 people saw you say you crushed. Like that's the reality.
Right. It's unfortunate. Well, and I've seen comedians at the Comedy Store go from being on Potluck to Kill Tony when all of that was happening in the Comedy Store. And I learned very quickly the first question you ask someone, if they ask you, how'd your set go? You say, were you in the room? And if they say no, then you say, I killed. It was great.
That's funny. That's smart.
And I saw that happen quite a few times when I was in the room and I thought, well, you probably did okay. I wouldn't go with crushed or killed, but you didn't bomb. But yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of salesmanship that goes into stand-up, I've realized. A lot of self-promoting that has to happen.
Every job is salesmanship. It sucks. I want there to be. I just want to do. I would rather not do the sales part, except on stage. That's a little salesy.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
like that
yeah.
part, I like.
But that's the part you're supposed to be,
Right.
selling something, right? Some persona, selling a
The one
joke,
lesson,
something like that.
yeah. The one lesson like that I learned is when someone says good set, just to say thank you. Don't argue that it wasn't a good set.
Right,
Because I do that a lot.
So yeah, thank you. I'm glad you
It took me
thought so.
about 7 years.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Oh my gosh, that's great. So are you doing acting stuff too, or are you focusing just on stand-up? Because LA is sort of the land of everything.
Yeah, it's the land of everything. I submit to auditions and stuff, and like any of my, like when my friends make things, like I did one sketch with Jackson Banks, and we're like working on another one. I think he's super talented, so we work well together. So yeah, like definitely, and I like doing that stuff, but like the whole submitting and audition process, I detest, so I'm probably pretty lazy about it as a
You
result.
kind of put that off a little bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the start a podcast myself soon.
Nice, yeah, good.
I got a person. We're just working on the first few episodes now.
Sure.
Won't be for a minute, but you got. It's like, yeah, it's just silly to just do stand up right now. It's like,
yeah.
And yeah, I mean, podcasting's so synonymous with it now too. It's like, and it's a great avenue for comics. It's way better than acting on the whole, I think.
I think so. Yeah, for sure. And it's also arguably, it is improv. There's a little bit of improv that goes into it because you're just having conversation, but there's not as much, I guess, pressure to be funny. You can just be yourself, which is nice.
Absolutely.
So what do you like most about stand-up?
Just doing really well in front of a crowd. I've honestly, on the show at the Tempe Improv, man, they were just so, because like whatever you want to say about if they should have been out, if they shouldn't have been out, if you're out, you're there to have a good time, right?
Yeah.
Just top to bottom, it was so good. They just like laughed hard at everything. I was like, I couldn't stop smiling for like hours after.
That's great.
I was like chilling, doing okay, and like doing pretty well and stuff, working on other things. But it's like that fucking level of joy. It's like it didn't exist during quarantine.
Right. Yeah.
Until that.
So were people masked up at the club, or was it mostly like
Although, food and drink, then they don't have to be. It wasn't.
So it felt and looked pretty normal then.
Yeah, they're spread out more. It was, it seats normally like 500. They would have taken like 220 or something. Ended up being like 100. But
that's still, I mean, that's in a nice room. That's got to feel super full.
Definitely, and it's well designed room too. So it's
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, a woman come up to me after, and I've never had this before, and she was like, "You're so funny, and you're so sexy." I was like, I've never gotten that from my stand-up. I feel like a lot of times my stand-up repulses women.
That's great. Oh my gosh. So did you get her number, or was she there? Was she married?
We went, I thought they were gonna. There was like an outdoor patio bar after where some people, I thought and then she was just gone, but it was
unbelievable.
Just being told. I mean, what was I going to do with the number in Arizona?
Right. I mean, it's not that long of a drive though, but yeah, no, it's true.
That's true.
That's true. That's perfect. So are you from Michigan or are you from somewhere else?
From Michigan.
Gotcha. And what was your family religious at all or no?
I grew up with Judaism. Like going to synagogue just on the high holidays. Both holidays, my mom's Catholic, and so like we have a big. My mom's side of the family is really big. Like Lebanese Catholic, she's got like 13 brothers and sisters, all with a bunch of kids and stuff. Like the Christmas party is like 120 people, and it's all family. So we would do like big Christmas, big Easter, all that stuff, and then just go to synagogue and whatever on Yom Kippur, Rosh Hashanah, all that jazz. Celebrate Hanukkah, get 2 sets of gifts.
That's great. I mean, but I have to ask though, because I thought Judaism passed through the maternal line.
Yeah.
So are you really Jewish or are you not, Zach?
Right? I mean, fucking. Hopefully, the Nazis see it that way.
I mean,
You
I
know,
hope they don't come
I
into power.
that,
I hope that doesn't matter, you
me
know?
too. But yeah, that's always been my thought. I was just raised it because that's my dad. You know,
Got it. Yeah.
whenever when I turned 18, and I was like, do you really do you strongly believe in this stuff? He's like, nah, but I just thought it was the right thing to have you grow up with it.
Sure.
Because I was like, I just don't really buy it. You know, I was like telling him that it wasn't really
Yeah.
for me, and then to find out, like, yeah, I was kind of suspected it.
Yeah.
But I think it
Yeah.
was also important to his mom, my grandmother, who was a very wonderful lady.
Sure.
Um,
Sure. Yeah. So were
but
either of your parents very religious, or was your dad sort of kind of Jewish but apathetic, and your mom was also Catholic but apathetic, or
yeah, I think both of them
yeah,
pretty apathetic.
but
Yeah,
kind of
but
wanted to
like,
give you
and
kids like a good foundation in their religious upbringing.
yeah, exactly. I'm sure back then they're like, if your kid doesn't have God, they're gonna like, be a punk rocker, and
Sure,
throw a
which is pretty
skateboard through
terrible.
a
I mean,
window.
that's the way everyone in my hometown feels. Still to this day.
Do
You
you
know,
know? Did I tell you? Do you know what Yom Kippur is pretty much, right?
I mean, I have a general idea that it's a Jewish holiday and it's a holiday of fasting, right?
Yes. All right. One second. Oh, before that though, but yeah, I say that because I don't even really buy into the religion, but the main reason I identify as Jewish still is because of the Nazi thing. They don't care about the mom thing. If people ever start like rounding up the Jews, then it's like they're
You're there with the
yeah. So it's like
Stein. Yeah,
fucking whatever. I'm a Jew. If
right,
you
right,
guys would
right.
just if you yeah, they would just shut
I
up. I'd
see.
stop. I wouldn't feel the need to do it. But
Yeah, yeah.
anyway, Yom Kippur is the holy of holies, as my dad calls it. It's like it's Easter. It would be Easter for Christianity, I would
Uh-huh.
guess. And so it's it's you repent for your sins by fasting for 24 hours, no eating, no water. Just did
Yeah.
that recently, and then and you gotta go to synagogue and pray, and all the prayers aren't in English. It's really boring,
Right.
and
They're in Yiddish, right?
yeah, Hebrew.
Hebrew. Got it.
Yeah. So 12 years old. There, yeah, it's two different languages. I don't really get why, but
Well,
Yiddish is way funnier.
sure, of course, of course.
For sure. But yeah, so I'm 12 years old. Me and my friends sneak out as we often do,
Mhm.
and are wandering around, and I don't know. One thing leads to another, and I ended up throwing a brick through a glass door at my synagogue on Yom Kippur.
On the Day of Atonement,
On the
unbelievable.
Day of Atonement, yeah. But before it was over, I still had time to figure that one out.
To complete the fast. I mean, maybe you were just hangry if you were fasting.
Yeah, really. You're not supposed. Yeah, not supposed to do the bar mitzvah age, but for whatever reason, I started at like 8. Just I thought it was fun. I don't want to.
Man,
But
yeah, yeah.
yeah, no. There was like a playroom with some crackers in it, and we were like that like kids being like, let's click the lock, and then we're like that didn't work, and then we saw a ladder, tried to ram that through, and then I picked up a brick, and of course I'm the one to throw it.
Of course
And one
you
of the
are.
kids pulled on me because he was afraid.
Oh my gosh, unbelievable. That
He
guilt.
didn't tell me until like 4 years later that he told
That he was
me.
the one that ratted you out.
Yeah,
And that's when you found his house and threw a brick through his window.
yeah. Straight
Perfect.
on through.
That's perfect. So do you identify religiously as Catholic or Jewish, or is it more of a cultural thing for you at this point?
Never cultural. I don't really. For me, it's like I believe in. Like I can't be atheist. Like I just don't. Because for me, part of it's like all any book that's like our God is a thing. It's like he's unimaginable. So it's not like you get good enough at science and you get him. It's like it's kind of a bullshit
Sure.
loophole. But it's like we're not. Yeah, you can't prove it, but that doesn't mean it's not there. But
Right.
like I feel like chances are any religion is wrong, and it's like you see guys like like guys who do like the Muslim terrorists and stuff. It's like those guys believe in their God way more than I ever believed in mine. How could I be like there's no way? How could that like it's you know it's just I don't get how I get like believing in the concept of God, like whether it's a guy or like particles or whatever the hell. But like
Right.
for me, yeah. But for me, yeah, I can't just like be like it's definitely this thing.
Gotcha. Do you feel like part of that is from this dual upbringing where you're taught about Jesus Christ as the Savior in the Catholic tradition, and then you're taught, Jesus was a rabbi at best in the Jewish faith, and
Uh,
so, God is sort of, I don't know, I would be confused as a kid growing up with these two pretty different ideas of God.
I didn't have much Christ in my life. Like my mom didn't really go to like she would go to the church every now and then, but
Mm,
like she didn't bring us every time. I had like a babysitter who was like always around, and like we would stay at her place sometimes, and she would take us to church on Sundays
hmm,
sometimes, and we just like the communion and shit. But no,
yeah,
really, it was and synagogue and Sunday school and all that was just like another opportunity for me to like stir shit up with my friends. I was always getting kicked out and stuff, and so
gotcha. All right. So it
yeah, I
never
don't know.
really
Yeah.
connected with you at any level.
Yeah, Santa, like catching, like figuring out Santa. I felt
Mm,
like after that, it was like okay. I was like, there's God. I'm sure. I believe in everyone around me was Jewish. There was a lot of
yeah.
Jews in my area and stuff. So it was like, yeah, sure. But it was there wasn't any element of like fear of like God's gonna
Judgment.
punish
Yeah.
me. I never had that.
Gotcha. Did you ever have an idea of what God would be, or was it always just too nebulous for you?
No, I mean, when I was a kid, I imagine guy in the clouds, beard,
Hmm.
naked. No, I'm just kidding.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we believe robes, nothing under the robe, though.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. And so now where do you stand on, are you still sort of not atheist, but there's no one real true religion on the earth? Or where do you stand now with religion and spirituality?
I just think I'm not atheist. I even kind of lean towards God
Hmm.
existing, but yeah, no, I think it's. I don't see how I could ever arrive at a conclusion. So I guess agnostic.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
Yeah.
just
Fair
and
enough.
it's which is good because I feel like the mystery is nice. Like it's because
Yeah.
if the answer is atheism, that would be the most miserable fucking thing ever to me. Like if there's
Yeah.
just nothing,
Right.
like it would. Because I fear all the time that this is all meaningless, and
Sure. Yeah.
so it's, at least with not knowing, it's like, well, create a meaning based on what's important to you and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. No, that's got to be pretty liberating. Um, Man, yeah, I don't know. I don't understand the atheists that are happy about being atheists. That does
Yeah,
not.
it's like they're like nothing's real, nothing matters with a smile on their face. I'm like, do you
No.
understand what the fuck you're saying?
Are you a sociopath? I don't get that. How could you be happy about that? Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't get it. I don't get it. So they think I'm stupid for believing in a God and for believing this guy, Joseph Smith, translated gold plates. But I also think they're stupid for not believing in anything, and still
Hmm.
being happy about it. That's crazy. That's crazy to
Yeah.
me. Oh my goodness. So do you
My
find, yeah, go ahead.
my view on Mormonism is mostly based on that one episode of South Park, and
Sure.
then
Very, very popular episode of South Park.
yeah, and the Book of Mormon, the musical I saw twice.
Right. And
But
I've listened to a lot of that music, but I haven't seen the musical yet. It was supposed to hit Pasadena, theater in Pasadena, but right before the pandemic hit.
oh,
And then
brutal.
the pandemic hit, and I think they had to cancel the whole show because,
Yeah, I had listened to the soundtrack before I saw it, and it wasn't exactly as I imagined it. Like really, like the plot
mm,
was like different than like kind of how I'd filled in the blanks. So I think it was definitely even worth seeing, even
yeah.
without
Yeah, I
hearing
do
their old
want to
music.
see it. And I like Matt Stone, Trey Parker. I think they do a decent job of dealing with my faith as kind of the sweet younger sibling. It's like, oh, they're so cute. They're not harmful, but they're just kind of ignorant of the way things are. And I'm okay
Do
with
you have
that.
Yeah. Do you have any critiques of how they've looked at it?
I mean, I enjoy the way they portray it in the South Park series
Mhm.
better than what I've heard about the Book of Mormon musical. Because they deal with some different issues in the Book of Mormon musical that are, I think, just as important, right? There's a lot of kind of, I don't know, anytime you deal with religion, there's a superiority complex, I feel like, right? Or like this kind of colonization feel where it's, we understand God and we're coming to you heathens with the right idea of God, and we're going to save
Yeah.
you. And they highlight that in Book of Mormon musical with these guys going to Africa, right? Which is like how much more stark can you get than white guys teaching African people about God?
Yeah.
In South Park, it's more like, I think kind of the friendly, like Flanders, like the way Simpsons deals with
Yeah,
Flanders
totally.
a lot. And I'm okay with that. Like, that doesn't bother me. But when you start getting into the colonization stuff, I don't know if it's like hitting true, that bothers me more, or if it's like, well, they don't, you don't you clearly don't believe my religion, so why would you portray it in this way? But I understand, they're dealing with a general audience, and that is the way we are perceived by most of the world. So, and it's not like we're apologetic about believing that our faith is the one true faith.
Totally.
So
Yeah. I didn't even know Mormons existed until that episode of South Park.
is that right?
Yeah.
There were none in Michigan, huh? None that bothered
Uh,
you or your family and your
no. I mean,
Jewish...
maybe like, yeah, maybe they'd show up at the door, but I don't recall it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like as a Latter-day Saint, I feel of my people like we are Jews 2.0. That's the way I portray it to people.
Yeah.
Because we're like the second chosen. We're the second born after the
Okay.
firstborn kind of messed up. That's, the
Got it.
callous
Well,
way to put it.
what are the Christians in this sandwich of chosenness?
They are, I think, the siblings that kind of heard, but kind of, they're doing their own thing. They're doing their own thing.
Okay.
They're the totally lost. No, I don't know. I mean,
They listened, but they didn't hear.
right, exactly. See, at least with Jews, they know what they believe, and it's just wrong. That's fine. But
Oh, yeah.
with a lot of Christians that are not my brand of Christianity, they hear it, but they also believe like that we are 100% incorrect,
And that's the good thing. Me and you, we agree about every religion except Mormonism.
And that's fine. And that's okay.
Yeah, let's just talk about the other ones.
Yeah, exactly. Those idiots. I don't know. I also think it's funny being in LA talking to people about religion, because I've talked to people who like believe in crystals, who believe like in the universe and horoscopes, and it's like,
yeah.
how is what I believe any dumber than what you believe? That's what I don't get. Why is manifesting to the universe different than praying? It's the same thing. We're doing the same thing. So I don't know, man. I don't know. So have you had any desire to seek out religion, like reconnect with kind of childhood aspects of your religion?
More philosophy than religion, really. I kind of want to just see how people approach that in like in the educational setting. But because I did I've looked into a few different religions and stuff. But yeah,
sure.
Just the we're right and you're wrong thing. I don't know if that. I don't know if I can get sold on. I hear Buddhism's not that and shit, but moving to LA and becoming a Buddhist, I don't know. I'd have to
How cliche can you be, Zach? Yeah, I mean, Buddhism, from my understanding, is more about like, living in the present. It's not getting locked up in the afterlife or anything like that. It's, focusing on the here and now, which I think a lot of, like Christianity for sure could benefit from focusing on how we treat each other now,
Totally.
I also think it's ridiculous that people believe they're doing God's work by belittling gay people or by harassing those who are LGBTQ, Like,
yeah, no, I agree.
if if we're all God's children, why would God want you to be like harassing them? I don't think that
Yeah,
makes sense.
that sounds that sounds very true to me. It
Yeah.
definitely doesn't seem very Jesus-y. Maybe Old Testament God,
A
but
little
like,
bit. Yeah. That's true.
yeah.
That's true.
But
So do you?
I don't see too many Jewish people. I'm sure like
Yeah.
the Orthodox and like the Hasidic might have their issues, but I don't see too many Jews. There's no Westboro Baptist synagogue.
No,
that
I think, and I think even for perhaps the more like the Hasidic Jews, that they're sort of like, hey, we've been punished enough. Why would we bring that to other people? You know, they'll find out on their own.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm wrong, and someone's gonna be like,
We get harassed by Hasidic Jews every day.
Yes, I'm sorry. I just don't know anything.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I don't know either. I haven't heard much about the mainstream media about Hasidic Jews bothering
Yeah, the only thing
minority
I ever heard
groups.
about is the plane thing where they won't sit in the same row as a woman.
Right. But yeah, I
That's
mean,
that seems annoying.
well, and I think, even in my faith, there's arguably some patriarchy that could be overruled, or overturned, I guess. But I think a lot of it is also tied to the religious ideal surrounding gender and gender roles. And so I imagine there's something similar in the Hasidic Jewish faith as well, as to why maybe some like kind of crazy notion of chastity or fidelity, or something
Right.
where it's like, we can't even be tempted or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. I also think we're better because like rabbis can bang.
Hey, I mean,
That makes
I
that's
think that's where a lot of the Catholic faith loses me for sure, is
mm,
this idea of celibacy for the priests. No wonder
yeah,
you're having problems. I
yeah,
mean, come
especially
on.
what came with it.
Yeah, geez, just crazy. So are you more like, when you talk about being more philosophical about, your faith as a child,
I mean, I was saying I don't think I'm particularly philosophical. I do put some thought into it, but that's just where I would like to explore, if
yeah, that's what
anywhere.
I mean. That's what I mean. But would you want to explore a more Christianity side, a Catholic side of God, or that philosophy, or a more, Jewish philosophy of God?
Neither, just a greater, just it could be like a. I don't care. I think of like I want to explore the idea of God as just like a greater thing. I don't care what
Oh,
form
okay.
it's in. I just yes or no kind of
Right.
is yeah what I want to. And I don't
Yeah,
think you can. I don't think you're ever gonna find an answer. But I do want to know. I would like to look at how
yeah.
smarter men a long time ago looked at it and stuff
Sure,
and thought
sure.
about it.
Well, I mean, I would beg to differ. I'm pretty sure you can come to an answer, Zach.
You can help me.
Yeah, I'll send you a couple friends. They'll give you a really special book. It'll be great. It'll be great.
Appreciate that.
Um, oh my goodness, I love it. Well, you ready? Are
They
you
come
ready
with
to
mine.
move?
They come with Mein Kampf.
I don't think they'll come with that one. I don't think
Okay, yeah,
so.
thank you. That's good.
No. Yeah. Are you ready? You ready to move to our final segment,
Oh yeah.
where you get to pepper me about
Mhm.
what's the deal with Mormons, Zach Stein? What do you think? What
All right.
questions do you have?
What's going on with you guys and black people?
Oh man. I
I know
mean,
there's shaky history.
we love black people. We love them so much. Now we certainly had our shakiness with them in the past. So the full, I guess, idea here, I assume what you're talking about is the priesthood, and how those of African descent could not hold the priesthood.
Yeah. Did they go
Yeah.
to heaven or yeah? The planet their own. Did they not get their own planets either?
No, they do. They do. They do.
Oh,
So as I guess there are kind of two answers to this question, and one is more of like a Mormon apologist. So if you were to go online and like search this out on your own, you'd obviously find the anti-Mormon, like Mormons are all racist, and they were racist until they legally could no longer be racist anymore. then there's the flip side of like the Mormon apologists was just like, no, we weren't racist. A big part of us coming into the Union when Utah wanted to be a state, and even when we were being driven from New York west, was that our relation with African American people put us in jeopardy if we were too nice to them as we moved west, right?
Right.
Until we made it to Utah and then could become a state, and then no other states wanted us to rock the boat on racial issues or on, you know, overall political issues.
Don't they think that calls into question the rest of the religious text if it was able to be influenced by political forces like that?
I don't think so. I mean, I think, you know, the real problem is there are some verses in the Book of Mormon that are not at all about African Americans, but they are totally about the early inhabitants of the American continent. Because my religion's belief is that the Book of Mormon tells the story of the early inhabitants of the American continent. All right. So some of them were of Jewish descent. They came from Jerusalem, fleeing Jerusalem, moved to the American continent. And some were people who were already here and are now, you know, the Native Americans, right? And there are some verses in the Book of Mormon that talk about some of these inhabitants being cursed with a darker skin. Oh boy, how do you get around that? I mean, geez Louise. So I think it's more of a convenience. If you think about Old Testament God kind of being possessive about who were following him, you know, the Jews definitely had like this inside crowd aspect going on. And I think there might have been something similar going on for the early American, you know, believers in Jesus Christ. So there you go. As far as like those of African descent and the priesthood, yeah. So our church initially with Joseph Smith gave the priesthood to all worthy men, regardless of race, ethnicity, whatever. And then as the church grew and as we started moving into different states, the church developed a policy where no man of African descent could hold the priesthood. And that lasted until, you know, 1975 or something, quite late, actually. And there's been no reason really why. People have hypothesized some really awful things like, oh, well, those of African descent descended from Cain. So it's a curse. It's a curse that God has finally lifted from those evil descendants of Cain. That's never been espoused by, you know, the mainstream faith. Yeah. So, I mean, I think the real truth of the matter is there might have been some racism somewhere in the past with the faith, you know, with leaders in the faith. I don't know. I don't think so, but there might have been. I mean, the world was a different place in the, you know, 1800s, and why it would take so long is, I think, a different question. And that part probably influenced by some, you know, by some racism, just by some laziness. I think people weren't asking the right questions, you know? Anyhow, so yeah, that's the long and short of it.
Yeah, there's the press release.
Yeah, exactly.
No, totally.
Exactly.
Okay. Mary fuck kill Joseph Smith. Can you do that? Joseph Smith.
I mean, not really. How about Mary kiss kill? How about that?
Okay, Mary kiss kill.
Yeah.
Joseph Smith.
Okay.
Moroni.
Okay.
And Brigham Young.
All right. As a woman, I would have to get into my feminine side.
Okay.
Because homosexuality is not really supported by my faith. We understand people deal with that.
I ain't even asked. Another one.
Yeah, it's another one. This is another huge one. So we can get into that after. But if I were to tap into my feminine side, answer as a woman, okay, for this question, I think I would have to.
What's your process here of getting into your feminine side?
I think just imagine what every teenage girl I knew in the church, this is the way they would answer it.
Okay.
I think you would have to. Man, you'd have to marry Moroni for sure. So Moroni is like this mythological character. I mean, he was a real guy. We believe he's a real dude, but he's taken on mythological status as just a really dope guy. Okay.
Like Moses-y kind of.
Sure. Yeah. Very similar. Very similar. So Moroni is like the man. So yeah, I think most teenage Mormon girls feel like they would love to marry Moroni. I think you'd want to kiss Joseph Smith. I think that's the answer there, and then kill Brigham Young. Brigham Young is a very problematic figure in Mormon history. He said some really weird stuff that at the time I'm sure made sense, but if you go back and look at a lot of his quotes and sayings now, does not age well at all.
Would you like to kill him before he said the things or after? How do you...
Oh man, it's a great question. I mean, the other way to do it is you kiss Brigham Young and you kill Joseph Smith because he got martyred pretty young anyway. So I don't know. It's a tough question, but I think before Brigham Young maybe said some of the more problematic things. But like I said, you know, it's perhaps just an issue of hindsight or you know, cultural evolution, that a lot of what he said doesn't really stack well now. But I don't know. But I think if I were pressed, that's the way I would go. You marry Moroni, you kiss Joseph Smith, and you kill Brigham Young. Oof, I might be struck down for even answering these questions, Zach, but
I hope not. I hope they understand. It was for the sake of entertainment.
Exactly, right? Which is all forgiving. Oh man, is that it? Is that all you got?
Let me wait. I had another one, I think.
Okay, good.
So, well, you said you guys are like you also, it's like a chosen thing.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like the Jews, like we're chosen, but we're not like knocking on people's doors. We kind of even make it harder to get in.
Right, for sure.
So how do you, do the converted become chosen? Were they always chosen and just needed to be awoken or something?
Yeah, I mean, we don't get into like chosen. Okay, so like there's the Jehovah's Witnesses kind of chosen status, which is like the 140. This is my understanding as a total outsider to that faith. So if anybody is Jehovah's Witness listening, don't feel belittled. But this is the way I understand the faith, which is there's 144,000 based on scripture and revelation that are saved. And that is who you want to be in the Jehovah's Witness faith, is part of that chosen group. That's not at all a faith of or a belief of my faith. And that's not what I mean by chosen at all. So as you are baptized into the faith, you are chosen. So everybody's chosen. Everyone has the potential to be chosen. You are adopted into the house of Israel through baptism, actually, in the Latter-day Saint faith. So we're all Jews, really. We're all Jews, which is the beautiful part of it.
Who knew? That's like a guy trying to bring everyone together. We're all Jews. Come on, man.
There's no need to fight. There's no need to fight here. There's no two-state solution in heaven. Everybody's just one big happy family.
Perfect. I like that.
Yeah.
What about what's the thing you have had to do associated with Mormonism that like blows people's mind the most? Like if you tell them.
Yeah, I mean, I think that one kind of depends on setting. There are two things. There's probably like the word of wisdom stuff. So like I've never done recreational drugs or drank alcohol. So that usually throws people for a loop, especially in like the LA stand-up scene, right? People are like,
what about
how is that
I know
possible?
I've heard caffeine comes into that too. Have you prescribed to that?
So I mean, I guess there's the short and long answer. The short answer is caffeine never has been part of the word of wisdom as like a forbidden substance. Okay. But the long answer is that there are a lot of people in the faith who do consider caffeine to be addictive and therefore out of the, part of the lexicon of things we cannot partake of, which is, I think, hogwash. I love Mountain Dew.
Okay.
So I've definitely, I mean, come on, nectar of the gods. That's what I say. So I've definitely partaken in caffeine, but not coffee, not tea.
Oh.
So.
And then what was the second thing that people are shocked by?
the second thing that people are shocked by is the celibacy before and, monogamy or fidelity after. So, yeah. So I didn't lose my virginity till I was 24, till I was married. So that's becoming, although I don't know, people are less shocked when they get to know me. They're sort of like, yeah, that makes sense.
No, you didn't miss out on much. Those sections before you're 24.
I mean, when you're 15, you feel like the whole world's passing you by,
Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, because what was the percentage of people around you that were Mormon and not?
Man, so I grew up in Orem, Utah. So like 94%, very, very heavily Latter-day Saint.
So when it was like the world was passing you by, is like stuff on TV, like shit on Degrassi, or okay,
yeah. Well, and you also deal with the same kind of feelings and temptations that everybody deals with when they're a teenager. It's just maybe not as, I guess the one thing is there's this added cultural or societal pressure to stay true to your faith, right? But even that being said, I mean, I know that there are friends of mine and people that I knew of who messed up all the time, like it happens, right? And but yeah, there is this added kind of societal pressure of, you're out with a young lady, she's Mormon, you're Mormon. It's like, come on, what are we doing here? But sometimes the animal instincts take over, apparently, and there's just nothing you can do about it at one point.
Do you think your marriage benefited?
Yeah, I do, actually. Yeah. Well, I think as a guy, and maybe this is one that you could answer for me, Zach. So as a guy, I feel like, and just the type of guy I am, I feel like I would be constantly, if I knew that my wife had been sleeping around before we got married, and I mean, whether or not I had been, I would always be wanting to compare myself to everybody she'd been with before. And I would need to be the best in every single category. And that's a lot of pressure, And I feel like she would want the same sort of reassurance, that she was the best that I've ever been with,
Yeah.
And so in that respect, we don't have to deal with that because, the one and only.
I think it's definitely I had that younger. You grow out of it though. If you stay like kind of doing the bachelor thing and hooking up, it's like you can just, it's just not that important as long as you two are having a good time and then it's I could care less about what someone else is. It's like I just want them like what I don't like.
Well, are you looking to get married at some point, Zach? Are you wanting to settle down?
Unfortunately, yeah. I don't know about when. I'd like to be doing a little better than I am, but
sure.
Which does seem a possibility. But I just I'd like a couple kids, and it seems like marriage is the best way to make that happen. But I'm not just gonna marry somebody. I really do. I'm not very picky. It's just I want to make sure I connect with someone for the right reasons. I'm looking for a friend, someone I enjoy.
Yeah. Well, I can appreciate that. But I mean, what you're telling me though is that when you find that very special someone, that friend that you want to be with forever, that you're not going to be at all curious or bothered by her sometimes being like, "Oh, but Dave really knew how to do X."
No, I feel like I'm
doesn't.
If
that's not going to bother you.
No, if I'm being honest, I think I'm usually Dave in that situation.
Okay.
I don't like saying it because people don't ever believe me, and because I got this whole like, whatever. But no, sure. I communicate well, and I just don't have too many hangups, and it's just usually a pretty good time. And the best thing for it was I started only sleeping with people I enjoyed being around before and after.
Sure.
And then it's like it's a lot because it's a lot harder to force that it's a lot harder to
wait, what are you doing?
It's a lot harder to develop chemistry sexually when you didn't have it kind of interpersonally. So even if it's like we're only gonna hang out for an hour and it's just a hookup, I'd like that hour to be enjoyable. And that I think that really makes the makes it easier just to be comfortable and bed.
Yeah. Well, this has been great life advice and relationship advice from Zach Stein, the Dave of the loving world. I love it. I love it so much. Any other questions for me before we let you plug whatever you want to plug?
No, I think you really answered it all. I'm ready to be a Mormon.
Beautiful. This is what we wanted all along, Zach. This is the whole point. Send me your address, and I'll send you 2 young gentlemen to your house.
It is Hollywood, but
yeah, yes, it is. Well, thank you for joining me, Zach. Anything? What do you want to plug, man?
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I got some. I have some stuff in the tubes that'll be interesting,
Good.
but I just don't want to talk about them yet in case it doesn't happen.
Fair enough.
And it's gonna be probably a month down the line or so. But
Sweet.
it'll be on there. Follow me on Instagram at hack_Stein, and I try to be funny on there pretty often. And then once this stuff is being pumped out, you'll be the first to hear about it.
Yeah, baby, that's great. You got a YouTube channel yet or no?
I do, but there's just not really anything going on it.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, well, I'll put your handle for Instagram in the notes so people can follow you. And sweet, you announce all your shows and stuff on Instagram, then I take it.
Totally.
Beautiful. Zach, I miss seeing you in real life so much.
This was nice, though. I miss seeing you, too, in real life.
Yeah, this was great.
I bet it'll happen.
I think so. Sooner, I hope, than later. We'll see. Maybe November 5th. I don't know. I don't know when results are coming in. November 28th.
Right. Man,
my gosh.
Shit's gonna get. We'll see.
It's gonna be crazy.
There's so much up in the air right now. It's gonna be a weird time. Hey.
Yeah. But thank you. Nonetheless, thank you, Zach. And I hope you have a wonderful evening.
You too.